Chapter 6 The Unexpected Tickets. At one point during our lighthouse adventures, when Dad and I had already passed our original goal of visiting the coastline from Grand Haven to Traverse City, we were planning on staying at a hotel in Mackinac City on a Saturday night. But the hotel accidentally thought we were going to stay on a Friday night. Because of the mix-up, the hotel called us back and said they would give us 3 free boat tickets to Mackinac Island. Even though at this point in our travels we were going to be very close to Mackinac Island, at the northern tip of the lower peninsula, we had no plans to explore the island. Now, suddenly, we were going. After visiting Headlands International Dark Sky Park that Saturday night, we were able to see Saturn and 4 of its moons through a large telescope. We spent the night at the hotel in Mackinac City. The next morning, we visited a couple nearby lighthouses, McGulpin Point, and Old Mackinac Point, and then we headed to the harbor in Mackinac City where the Shepherd's ferries launched. We got to the parking lot, exited our car, and raced to the dock in order to try to catch a ferry just before it left. We ran as fast as we could, and it was exciting, especially when we made it just in time. Riding the ferry was really fun. The waves were really big, especially on the way back. The ferry traveled super fast, and it flew into the air on almost every wave. We also passed by a couple cool lighthouses near Round Island, which is an island located near Mackinac Island. When we arrived to Mackinac Island, we noticed that many people were in line to leave. They were leaving because they were concerned about a line of storms forecast to come through the area that extended from Canada all the way down into Ohio. We didn't know about the storms until we saw all of the people preparing to leave, and we asked a ferry employee what was going on. Dad then said to me, as he recorded me walking down the dock, that we usually get very lucky with these types of things. When we got to Main Street, we took a close look at our map to plan our visit. The first thing I noticed was all the horses on the street. I had been to Mackinac Island once before when I was 3, and the thing I most remember about that first trip was the horses. Dad let me know that the fancy buildings, restaurants, and stores on Main Street and elsewhere on the island represent different types of architecture, including colonial, Victorian, and Greek revival. Whatever they were, it was really fun to be walking past all of the cool buildings. first had Fort Mackinac, which opened up back in 1782. England controlled it back then. The fort is located high up on a huge hill. Actors dressed up in old military uniforms, and they pretended like they were living at the fort in the 1800s. We were at the huge fort. While we were at the huge fort, we watched a movie in the indoor theater. That's when it started to rain. The rain came through, and then it quickly stopped. Incredibly, those storms that caused people to leave the island nearly broke up right over Mackinac Island. Dad and I looked at the 500-mile long line of thunderstorms on his phone, and there was only one break along the whole distance. It was over Mackinac Island. We were amazed. Then again, the weather and the skies almost always worked in our favor, like when we saw 2 different sundogs in our travels. Through the course of that entire summer, rain only caused us to change our plans one time. The rain stopped, and we checked out the rest of Fort Mackinac. And then we headed to Skull Cave, which was about a 20-minute walk away. After seeing the little cave, we headed towards Arch Rock over near the eastern shore of the island. As we were walking to Arch Rock, we saw a sign that told us that there was another fort on the island, Fort Holmes, that we did not know about. We saw a huge set of stairs that headed up a steep hill towards the fort. We climbed up, and at the top of the stairs we saw the large fort, which was a blockhouse, and we headed inside of it. We climbed up the stairs of the blockhouse to a second level. While looking out the windows of the fort, we both felt grateful that we were at the highest point of an island we did not expect to visit. We continued on our journey to Arch Rock. Once we got there, we took a picture, one of Dad's favorites, of the 2 of us in front of the geological wonder. We then headed down a set of stairs and got down to Lakeshore Drive, which circles the entire island. Before long, I came upon an awesome natural spring named Dwightwood Spring. Since the 1850s, the spring that has given many tourists, including us, the water they were thirsty for. We walked down Lakeshore Drive and made our way around the southern portion of the island as we headed back towards the main tourist area. I was eager to visit the original Mackinac Island butterfly house, an insect world that we saw on our map. The butterfly house reminded me of the butterfly house in Bugsville and Traverse City, as well as the Frederick Meyer Gardens butterfly exhibit in the spring. Inside, we discovered all types of colorful butterflies, moths, and insects. A couple of the butterflies landed on me. I even had a chance to release a butterfly that that it just hatched out of its chrysalis. Of course, the visit to the Butterfly Museum reminded us of our friend Flutter. We headed back towards the main dock, got a bite to eat, and boarded a ferry for the exciting ride home. As we bounced from wave to wave on the way back, we talked about the great time we had just had. We talked about how we just had an awesome experience only because a little mistake unexpectedly bought us free boat tickets that led us to an incredible adventure.